Rome.
Mostly cloudy tonight with scattered light rain, drizzle or mist, more persistent showers overnight with lows of 13 to 16 degrees. Now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette Labs. Get the ultimate shave or your money back. Neon Night Edition available now.
This is News Talk.
Now, folks, you're welcome along to Tuesday evenings Off the Ball. So very happy to say Stephanie Meadows is going to join us, fresh from a T3rd at the USPGA, second major of the year, and she was not having a good year up until this point. It's a major upturn in her fortunes. So Stephanie Meadows will join us and tell us about playing in the final round with her friend Leona Maguire in the final grouping. Her, like I said, best finish since her very first major in 2014. So big week for her. She's on the way at 7:30. We have Matt Slater, always a brilliant journalist from The Athletic. He's going to talk to us about the Saudi Pro League and just where this is all going. They're certainly spending the cash at the moment, and they said it couldn't be done. 6 in a row. A slight tangent. Mick McCarthy, hello.
Level with the Dubs. If we get as far as, we could be cancelled by 8 o'clock, who knows.
As good an achievement,
I would say, easily. I mean, yeah. You know, they had their Mayos, their Kerrys latterly. Mm-hmm. You know, we've had, I don't know what, Archer just shouted something about here.
He said, where's our AIG?
Exactly, there you go.
Why has no one sponsored a slight tangent yet? What's going on?
We're open for business, folks.
Well,
you know?
There's no guarantee we'll do it next week, but we are open for business.
We're open for business now. I mean,
if it was sponsored, then we would have to do it every week, and I'm not sure we want to go down that route.
And will we, you know, like share your corporate views? Of course we will. Whatever you want,
yeah, we'll say whatever you need us to say. 53106 is the text number. We're at Off the Ball on Twitter. Richie McCormack, as excited as everyone about 6 in a row of a slight tangent, no doubt.
Pumped, Joe. Absolutely pumped. And it is a better achievement than the Dub 6 in a row. I think it's pretty easy to say that.
Any burning issue you'd like us to discuss? It's just like you were in our production meeting earlier.
Split Dublin in 2. Could we talk about that?
We couldn't think of anything.
Make sure they never do 6 in a row again.
We're fully reliant on emails this week. We couldn't think of anything. There's no thing.
If only there was a major news story though, which we could glom onto and perhaps work that in our favours.
We did wonder, should we talk about Ryan Tubridy, but we felt it was just that bit beyond our scope. Mick had a lot to say.
I don't know about beyond their scope. I think maybe a bit old at this stage. I don't know.
It's only getting started, Mick.
Yeah. When you see those
24-hour news cycle, folks, you know, we're moving on.
We'll all have forgotten about it. We'd like to welcome to the show our new colleague, Mr. Ryan Tubridy.
The Newsround, because there is a very significant first story, Rich, is brought to you with Gillette Labs. Get the ultimate shave or your money back. Neon Night Edition is available now. Welcome to the big time.
Yeah, Republic of Ireland forward Chidozie Ogbene has joined Premier League newcomers Luton Town. The 26-year-old was a free agent following the expiration of his contract at Rotherham. Speaking to Luton's YouTube channel this evening, Ogbene outlined his and the club's ambitions for the coming season.
Foremost, I'll be honest with you, I think our ambition is to stay in the league. We want to be competitive as well. We don't want to just be hanging on by a thread, and I believe that this group of players will be competitive. I think we have a group of players that's willing to work hard and, you know, with high work ethic, and, you know, with that anything is possible, especially in that league. You know, you've seen teams come up and, you know, quite dominate in the championship and struggle. I think what helped me come to this club, I think the managers, you know, he rang me and he showed great interest in me, and he didn't beat about the bush. He told me his plans and his ideas in terms of, you know, trying to survive and be competitive in this league, and I really believed in it. I really liked the ideas, and it was very, you know, straight point and direct, and I think with this group of players and what he wants to do, I think we'll be efficient in this league.
Very likeable personality.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him.
So it is a serious jump in standard, and fingers crossed it goes well for him. We are thin on the ground when it comes to Premier League minutes at Republic of Ireland international level, so fingers crossed it goes well. Text in off the bat, Ogbene to Luton seems like good news, but it feels like they're going to be in for a rotten season a la Bazunu at Southampton. Could it be a bad thing?
Yeah, I don't know really. I think we can be a little bit we can jump the gun on these things a little bit as well. You know what I mean? This is first of all, it's the achievement in itself. You know, take Ireland out of it. I remember when Villa got promoted and Conor Hourihane, I wasn't thinking too much of it, and then I remember they played their first game and Conor Hourihane was tweeting saying like, I'm a Premier League player. You know, and he was like a similar age, I would imagine, to what Ogbene is now, and you're like, it doesn't come when you're 20. It is a little bit more of an achievement, and there's something kind of brilliant in that in itself. You know what I mean? And he's a Premier League player now, and that's a brilliant thing for him. You know,
I'd encourage people to actually check out that interview, because it's not like your standard just happy to be here, delighted with the project that's been put forward. I think his first answer, he name checks Limerick, and he actually cites the journey. Like, it's been such a rise to go from being a player in his early 20s at Limerick, having come through Cork, etc., to be picked up by Brentford, and then that didn't work out while they're on the up, and then he go to Rotherham, and he's steadily built a career for himself and is remarkably humble. One of the pictures he has there of his unveiling is him with his entire family, and it's just not a story that happens too often, and should 100% be celebrated. It is going to be a jump in quality for him, but like, we've seen what he's been able to do at international level, and there were doubts when he was brought into the international setup whether or not somebody who was playing wing back for Rotherham could be an effective force in an Ireland front three, and I think he's shown that to be more than the case. So fingers crossed he's able to take this in his stride as well.
He is someone as well that you do. There are certain players, and it doesn't apply to everyone by any means, there are certain players that through their physical attributes as well as their application can kind of straddle whatever standard they're at. You know, it doesn't mean he has to be like one of the best players in the Premier League or anything like that, but I think he could surprise a few people, you know, because as Richie says, like some of Ireland's bigger games, Ogbene has been the shining light, you know. So I actually have very few worries that he's going to be like completely outclassed in the Premier League or anything like that.
Well, he's probably Ireland's biggest threat against France this year. That's
exactly the game in my head, yeah.
So get used to it, folks. They are very much Chidozie Ogbene's Luton Town in all.
Oh yeah, I've a lot more interest in Luton than I did a few weeks ago
going forward,
when I wanted Coventry to beat them in the Championship playoff. Darragh O'Shea, you know, signed for Burnley late last week as well. We barely mentioned it, you know, just the time of the week that it happened, you know. So good moves, you know what I mean? It looks like Nathan Collins is on his way to Brentford, which like he clearly needs out of Wolves, I would say, and Brentford could even be a step up for him. So, you know, maybe some green shoots on the old worst ever season of Irish in the Premier League that we're on the back of.
Rugby, Rich?
Yeah, the Ireland men's rugby 7 side are facing Great Britain this evening for a place at next year's Olympic Games. 2 Billy Dardis tries helped Ireland beat Portugal 24-0 in this afternoon's European Games semi-final in Krakow. That final is set for 25-9. Michaela Walsh, meanwhile, is a win away from Olympic qualification. The Belfast featherweight beat Aishin Tashkin to advance to the European Games quarterfinals. Dana Morehouse is through to the European flyweight quarterfinals. That follows her victory as well today in Krakow over Ukraine's Tetiana Cobb, and another victory as well for Ireland. Aoife O'Rourke getting the better of a majority decision against Cindy Ngambu of the refugee team to advance to the last 16 of the middleweight division. Plenty of other action in Poland today. Josh McGee and Moya Ryan on course for a mixed badminton doubles quarterfinal following their win over the Slovak tandem of Milan Dratva and Katarina Vargova. McGee returns to action this evening as well alongside Paul Reynolds to face a Team GB pair of Ben Lane and Sean Vendy in the men's doubles. Rachel Dara picked up her first win of the competition, beating Serbia's Mariana Sidomac 2-1 today. Well, Nat Wen will look to make it back-to-back wins and heading for the quarterfinals, hopefully with another men's singles group outing this evening. In the women's triathlon, Erin McConnell finished in 27th position this morning. Sive Brassel missed out on progress in the modern pentathlon. She was 15th after the fencing bonus round and the laser run today.
Lads, I presume, as promised last night, you will be ranking the GAA's worst fans on a slight tangent later on this evening. Well, now we're talking.
Well, we want you to do that for us.
Well, we did get an email or a text in which gave a good shot at it. You just signed off, Richie, and I think it was number one.
Tip, wasn't it?
No, it was number one Kilkenny. They show up for one match a year. Number 2, Kerry, not much better. Number 3, Dublin fans. Just said annoying. And number 4 was Mayo fans, and the point there was like they're really having themselves, like they really think they are the best fans, you know, long suffering Mayo fans.
With that one because I'm scared of Mayo fans.
You know, so that was our top 4 last night.
But we had a response from a Kilkenny person who was like absolutely fuming that their county of 100,000 was expected to fill Croke Park 4 times a year, and instead put all the blame at Tipperary fans purely for the chant of tip, tip, tip,
tip, tip, tip, tip, tip, tip, tip, tip.
How do you keep rhythm on that?
You do it two ways.
tip,
There's the
tip,
very
tip,
fast
tip,
way,
tip.
and then there's the, as Richie just did it there, the kind of getting faster
Building.
as it goes on.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
Build momentum, Joe. It's all about building momentum with your tip.
We'll see if we talk about that. We did feel it was getting things off on a slightly negative tone. Slight
A
tangent.
little bit negative, yeah. Who are the worst GAA fans?
Again, it's
Cork.
Dividing Cork.
so incendiary, it gets everybody riled up and be
Why
good for
Cork?
the ratings.
No.
Go on. You wanted to make.
Cork hurling fans or Cork football fans?
See, this is it. I said Cork
That's
football
the thing.
fans last night. Cork hurling fans are great fans in terms of their showing up, but do they annoy you when they're there? That's another question. One I won't be answering.
Okay. So, well, I think we're going to talk to Chris Andrews about this tomorrow on the show, Richie. So you can give us the gist. Robbie Keane, he was unveiled today, was he?
He was, yeah. He was before a media conference today, brushing aside criticism of him taking charge of Maccabi Tel Aviv. Israel's treatment of Palestine has led to a torrent of criticism of the move in the past 24 hours. As he mentioned, Sinn Féin TD Chris Andrews described Maccabi as an apartheid club. The Ireland-Palestine Solidarity Campaign described Keane's move there as deeply disappointing. But speaking at his unveiling press conference today, Keane wasn't taking notice of the criticism.
I don't want to get into politics, and I think this is the last time I'll say I certainly do not want to get into politics. I'm here as a football man and someone that loves the game, so I will certainly just focus on that. But thanks for your question.
That's good to hear.
So we'll see plenty of criticism. We'll talk to Sinn Féin TD Chris Andrews, I think, on the show tomorrow. So he's described Maccabi as an apartheid club, for instance. I think let's drill down into the rights and wrongs of Maccabi first of all, and then the wider Israel situation. I think everybody is fairly aghast at what they see coming out of that country against Palestinian people on a routine basis. So where Robbie Keane fits into that is obviously tricky for him. He doesn't want to get into it. I'm not surprised he doesn't want to get into it, because you're just into choppy water straight away. I suspect he'll be asked about it again, Richie.
Yeah, I presume, judging by the reaction in the room there, because the journalists, pardon my ignorance, I'm not up on Israeli football journalists, you might have heard that there's the clip trail out was saying, I'm delighted to hear it. Like, he's not going to face those questions from within a week-to-week, day-to-day press conference scenario. It's when he ventures outside of the bubble. It's when that gig comes to an end, whenever that happens to be. He will face questions about it. And from here, like, it will affect his standing amongst a decent sized chunk of the population, because I think a lot of people were pretty much taken aback. I'll be honest, like, much like you say there, that he doesn't want to delve into it, because as soon as you do, you're almost swimming against the tide that you're not going to, get up from. Yeah. I don't think he's given it much thought. I would doubt that he's given it much thought, I should say, going into this, about that situation, that he is just seeing this as a gig. And like, I don't know if you can criticize somebody for not thinking, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Because I don't think it's been a consideration of his going into this. He's probably just seen this as teamer in European action, finished third. There's probably a chance to don't have to build significantly to make them into title contenders in their own country, and who knows from there. But I think to a degree it does actually, it obviously warrants the criticism if there was consideration of it, and he just decided, you know what, screw all that, I'll just take it anyway. But I just my honest opinion of it, I don't get that sense that he thought about it now.
You have a lot of people, Richie mentions, like, this will affect how people think of him, and maybe this post this job. I feel like a lot of people who feel strongly about this are in the football going community. It's always been my experience anyway as well, that there's always a lot of I suppose support for Palestinians at Irish football games, so that's another aspect of this here. But I think a lot of it does come back to what we were talking about yesterday, which is like, is this a good move for Robbie? And last night we were talking mainly from a football point of view, but it's like just another added on thing. It's just like there's going to be this cloud over Israel and Maccabi in particular, like, that's going to be there from only certain quarters, I would say. And I mean, we can argue as to your point, Richie, as to whether Robbie should be aware of this or not, but even so, it's more just like, is this the right move for him? And I feel that's just another little notch against it, I have to say, as well as the obvious football reasons.
We have news then from Cork, Rich.
Yeah, Liam Buckley is going to remain in charge of Cork City for the rest of the SSE Electricity Premier Division campaign. The club's sporting director was placed in temporary charge in May following the sudden departure of Colin Healy. Since then, Buckley has guided Cork to 4 wins and 4 defeats, and he'll be assisted, as he has been for the last 2 months, by Richie Holland, Declan Coleman and Liam Carney.
Bayern Munich have had a crack at Harry Kane.
Oh, they have indeed, yeah. Bayern Munich bidding €70 million plus add-ons for Harry Kane. It's reported that the Tottenham striker has indeed got an agreement in principle with the Bundesliga champions, but Spurs have rejected Bayern's bid. However, with Kane still having a year left on his contract, it's believed Spurs would want in excess of €100 million for the 29-year-old. Meanwhile, Guillermo Vicario has been confirmed as Ange Postecoglou's first signing at Tottenham. The 26-year-old goalkeeper has joined from Empoli in a €19 million deal. Vicario has signed a 5-year deal at Spurs and is likely to become Hugo Lloris's replacement between the sticks.
Has any football club got more hubris than Spurs? Daniel Levy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, who? I don't know. You want 100 million for a player and at 29 in the last year of his contract. He wants out the door. He's wanted out the door for 4 years. Like, I know he signed that 6-year contract, fine, but you're not going to do better than this. Like,
is that hubris?
I think it's an assumption that they can win him over in the next 12 months. I think it's a sign that Spurs will be back where they belong in the Champions League, which is like they've told us now that they're a Big Six club for a while. It doesn't actually mean they are.
The thing that it is, with a year left on his contract, like they know he's going within the next 12 months. Like I presume they know he's going anyway. At some point, you are going to have to start a rebuild without somebody who has been your most, reliable goal scorer, reliable player. I think on the whole over the past decade, you are going to have to start that rebuild. If you know it's coming, just start it now.
Yeah, is this one season going to be worth 80 million plus the significant top earner wages that he's got there? Like, that's a big what do they call it, haircut to take for Spurs as a business, just because they're too proud to sell Harry Kane. So that's where I'm getting the hubris from. I think it's like as if like Levy doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to be seen to sell Harry Kane. But like, it's over. You've lost.
Lads, would you take PIF sponsorship for Slight Tangent?
Well, yeah, considering the amount of money they throw at us, absolutely.
Just let our nervous giggles speak for themselves.
Please welcome to the show Simon and Ryan. You're very
yeah. So, well, we'll see. I mean, I don't think they're going to accept 70 million. I do understand them holding out for a bit more. It might depend what Postecoglou is saying as well. He might be saying, look, I really want to keep him if you can at all.
I'm sure he is.
That's part of the consideration. You want Postecoglou to work out, you want to give him every chance. Maybe it's worth just taking the hit of the...
I think Bayern Munich's an interesting move for... I mean, it is interesting that he has an agreement in principle with them.
Oh, he wants
something. Yeah, but we were talking about whether Kane was like willing, wanting to stay in the Premier League over everything. It shows that his ambition is definitely like he wants to play for big clubs and win the Champions League. I think that's a positive thing for Harry Kane.
Yeah, Matt Slater's with us later on. He's going to give us his sense of what Saudi Arabia are doing and their Pro League is trying to do, what's going on at Chelsea, because it seems like they're in all sorts of strange situations, and then just on the whole the market, because there's not much happening, Jude Bellingham aside, really. It's one of those quiet summers thus far, although I see, Richie, your next story, Man City have said, yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah, Chelsea are kind of fueling the market, to be fair. Manchester City confirming the signing of Mateo Kovacic from Chelsea. The Croatian midfielder has cost City £25 million plus another $5 million in potential add-ons. Kovacic has signed a 4-year deal with the Premier League champions. Another midfielder on his way out of Chelsea today is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. AC Milan, it seems, are going to pay €16 million for the England international, which could rise to $20 million, depending again on those various add-ons.
Kind of an interesting signing, Kovacic. They seem to be interested in Declan Rice. They
want to take him off Arsenal.
Have Calvin Phillips sitting around.
Yeah.
Just like, boss, can I play a minute? And they say, we'll take Kovacic too.
So is Kovacic going to be in place for that Rodri spot, or do you think it's more a replacement for Gundogan, and then they'll probably buy someone else as well?
I think they're looking for a Gundogan type who can kind of, if needs be, drop back with Rodri, but otherwise bomb on a touch. And I guess that's the Declan Rice thing, and that's the Kovacic thing. And there was a piece on The Athletic actually, where Guardiola was out for lunch with some close confidants, where apparently, this was back in April, they had asked about the Gundogan rumours, and Guardiola had said, we can't lose Gundogan yet. We're not ready to lose him. He's still too important to us. So they certainly didn't want him to go. So there's probably a degree of scramble. Whether this softens their interest in Declan Rice, I don't know. But Kovacic is...
Yeah, it's been in the pipes for a while, I think, the Kovacic move, since like early in the window anyway. So I don't know if it would change any plans necessarily. I think this is just the completion of a long-standing almost agreement anyway. But yeah, like the Chelsea thing is interesting, like in general, and obviously we'll talk to Matt later about, but one thing that definitely jumps out at me is like, when did we come a time where club gets rid of player to lesser team and the lesser team is AC Milan? Something sad about that, I have to say.
Michael on YouTube, politics aside, the worst thing about Keane's career is people making the same stupid joke about his boyhood club dream every time.
That's true.
I made that joke last night.
You did. I didn't go unnoticed.
So Sarah Healy then?
Yeah, great evening for her. She set a new personal best in the 1500 metres, and with it the third fastest time in Irish history. She ran a time of 4 minutes 1.75 seconds in placing fourth at the Golden Spike meeting in Ostrava this evening. Only Sonia O'Sullivan and Ciara McGeehan have been faster than the 22-year-old over 1500 metres. That is indeed in an Irish vest. That's also good enough that time for qualification for this year's World Championships. Charlie Maudsley, meanwhile, was sixth this evening in the 400 metres there in the Czech Republic.
Okay. Rugby then, the Under-20s World Cup.
Yeah, James Nicholson replaces the suspended Hugh Cooney in the Ireland Under-20 team, named to face Australia in Thursday's World Rugby Championship clash. It's one of four changes from the draw with England, with Hugh Gavin moving from the wing to outside centre to accommodate Nicholson. Ronan Fox replaces George Haddon in the front row. Charlie Irvin comes into the second row, and Brian Gleeson starts at number 8. While an Ireland women's Under-20 squad will travel to Italy for training matches with both the Azzurri and Scotland next month. A 26-player squad will be selected from the 44 players that assembled for a screening camp in Abbottstown recently.
Dara on YouTube, Phil Foden should take the Gundogan role. Yes, that's a shout. That was generally a point made after England's exit at the World Cup, that was the move they needed to make, Foden through the middle. There's a degree of like, we've been saying this guy could play through the middle for a while now. Come on.
Yeah, let's see it.
Do it.
29 by the time he's given a chance. Yeah,
he's able to.
Pep will come up with something. You know, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Like, you know, we don't know what way Man City will play next year. It'll be something crazy and revolutionary. But they'll have it won't. I don't think Kovacic is going to replace Gundogan.
No, he's a handy 25 million signing.
Yeah, play 15 games a season.
Yeah, there's a Carling Cup game and a couple of league games,
and he's a really good player.
He's
like, that's
bloody good
thing.
player.
You know, it's like the way we're talking about him.
Oh, like United would kill for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe sounds more like Pat Kenny every day as a random text. Thank you. I wish. From Moonlight Serenade on YouTube.
It's so much going on in that comment.
It goes to show how bad Cork are these days that our fans aren't hated by all and sundry, says Cork texter as well. Is there a degree of sympathy for the Cork football fan? I don't know.
See, the thing about it is there's no real hatred of another supporter base is really a soccer based thing for the most part. It's not
sorry,
something
Mick's shaking his head at that. Mick's shaking his head.
Sorry, that's from the soccer man who goes it's bullshit. No, you hate in a like I suppose I know what you mean. You wouldn't be like you don't have to be separated in the pub beforehand or stand in a different town square, but that's just like a little bit less childish, I would say. You still hate the teams.
Do you?
I don't know.
Not really.
Of your rivals?
No.
I don't know if there's much difference in that regard. I just think that it doesn't kind of come with sort of like faux violence that a lot, like, by the way, a small minority of football fans seem to strive for, where it's like, you know, this idea of like, can't wait to get my hands on. You know, we've seen it at a couple of cup finals in the last couple of years. I'll say no more.
Yeah. I don't know. I always think there's still that lovely thing if you sit next to, obviously, fan of other county and you chat away.
Yeah.
And you would expect to.
Of course you do. Like, sorry. Maybe I've gone off on one here and I've gone wrong. I'm thinking about hating the teams and not wanting to lose to certain teams and all. I think is as strong in GA as it is in any other.
What I think you do hate is what you would call patronising hard luck shake of the hands from the other GA supporter at the end of the match.
100%.
And the other day you would have had us. Yeah.
But do you think I haven't done that on the other side?
Yeah. That's always a nice thing too.
Yeah.
Why do you don't like it though?
No, I do like it. I think it's fine. Yeah. I'm just usually a little bit angry.
Not in the mood for it.
Yeah. And like I don't want to be like
I could just imagine
arguing with a randomer. Like,
I can just imagine you were shaking the hand back, zero eye contact, the limpest hand that there's ever been.
You know the famous story
did
around
Mick just say I don't want to be arguing with a randomer? That's been like 80% of your life.
You know, I once shook the hand of I don't even know what she's saying. Sorry. So in 2018, the All-Ireland semi-final, Clare and Galway, was a draw.
Okay.
The replay was the following week, and I was me and my wife were away that weekend down in Kerry, and I couldn't even move it because I'd already moved that weekend away for the Munster final. Mm-hmm. Right, so like I'm not going to the game.
Yeah.
She's Galway, obviously. We watched the semi-final replay in Paddy O'Shea's pub in Ventry.
Nice.
Really nice. Yeah, lovely day. Clare hit the post at the last minute to win the game. Don't do it. Galway got through to the All-Ireland final. I don't even remember this, but this is what happened. I apparently shook her hand and walked out of the...
Michael,
I'm mortified.
Bad behaviour.
I know.
Bad behaviour.
I was telling the National Airways about it for some reason, but it did fit what we were talking about. Yeah. I shook her hand and just walked out. I didn't tell her where I was going. I did that. Just like stood outside in the fresh air for a few minutes.
Like Mick McCarthy and Roy Keane at the end of the Holland game.
Not too far off. Yeah, looking in different directions. She was just left in there with people laughing as I'm like standing outside.
The image of that.
It's not good.
I'm not talking to you. Goodbye.
On Stephanie Meadow, by the way, who's on the way in just a moment, just to give you the context of her season, it was not going well at all. So she had missed the cut, finished 49th, missed the cut, 31st, missed the cut, 23rd in the drive-on championship. It was awful, and things were not going well, and now she's rebounded out of nowhere to tie for third at the USPGA, pick up $400,000, thank you very much as well, which changes a few things. So we're really looking forward to chatting to her in just a moment. In the meantime, Richie, thank you very much.
Nice, lads.
Michael, cheers.
Thank you.
Your chance to win big.
News Talk's Summer Cash Machine.
Another rollover, so if you've entered since 5 o'clock Friday, you're still in the draw, but you do need to know this new number, which is €51,963.48. Text play to 57557. Get your entry in by 3 o'clock tomorrow, and then across the Go Loud network of stations, we will make the call. Answer within 5 rings, the exact amount, please. So again, the new amount, 51,963.